Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, depending on where you are in the world. This is Azil's Gaming. I'm, of course, Azil, and this is your guide to rivens. So, prerequisite before we even start, I am not a riven expert by any stretch of the imagination. However, I have played the game enough. I clearly, as you can see, have enough rivens that I know roughly how they work. And whilst this is not, and I repeat, not going to be a price checking or price estimating riven guide, it will be a guide to how you can get the best out of your rivens. So it's going to give you an idea of what to look for. It's going to explain how the riven system works. It's going to explain what sort of things to look for. It's just going to give you an idea of basically what to do with them. It's a beginner's guide. To explain that first, what we need to do is explain what a riven actually is. A riven is a mod in the game. You start acquiring them after you have unlocked the quest. So you're going to go through all the quests. I think it's the War Within, without giving too many spoilers. You can also acquire them from the Gift of Lotus. And what they are is they are mods specifically targeted towards very specific weapons. They are categorized in different categories. So, for example, it would be primary rifle, shotgun, secondary, melee, kit gun, and Zor. They recently separated those from your normal, kind of your normal secondary and melee. So what that means is when you get one that is unveiled, as they call it, it's hidden. You'll get one like this one here, which just very simply says it's a rifle riven mod, and you have to kill 60 enemies with finishers without failing a mission. That's actually changed. I thought it was something different, but I can do that. Can equip that. That's odd. But yeah, so you'll get a riven like this where you've got to do a challenge, and when you've done that challenge, it will unlock for you. And when you unlock it, it will be any number of things. Like it will be one of any of the games, any of the weapons in the game. And what that means is some of the weapons do have duplicate ones or different variants that you can use. For example, the Bratton here. When I find it, there it is. The Bratton can be used on normal Bratton, it can be used on the Bratton Vandal, and it can be used on the Bratton Prime. However, certain ones like the Mutilist variant of the Cernos, where have you gone? Mutilist Cernos versus the normal Cernos, that can only be used on the Mutilist Cernos. So what I've learned is that other than your Syndicate variants and your Prisma variants, if it says Mutilist or whatever the name starts with, that is the only variant that can go on. So if it's just got Bratton, it can be used on the other variants. If it's got Mutilist, it is specifically for that Mutilist weapon. I hope that makes sense. Really hope that makes sense. And then once you've got round to unlocking it, you've then got to work how to roll it. Rolling them requires Kuva. I can actually roll this Mutilist Cernos to show you. You farm Kuva from various missions. You've got single siphons. You've got floods, which are high level, yield more Kuva, and then you've got the Kuva survival, which is generally where I find most of my Kuva. I will sit and farm it out. You've got your Kuva pool up here, and you can see here you roll it for an amount, and in this case it's 2,000. So we're going to roll that just to show you how it works. So you'll come up with this screen here. You will hit cycle for 2,000. You will hit yes. It will cycle it, and then you get a choice of 2. Now, what many people don't realize about rivens is that you can actually cycle back. You can actually keep your old roll. It doesn't really mean much if you do keep the old roll, but that's what we're going to do, because here we've got not very good stats. I'll explain the stats in a second. So you'd select this one, you'd hit confirm, you'd hit yes. It's taking you 2,000 Kuva off you. It's left with whatever you've got. You'll see here at the bottom it shows how many rolls you've got. After, I think it's around 8 or 9 rolls, you cap out at the maximum of 3,500 Kuva per roll, and that is how much it will cost you therein from henceforth. Now, to find the stats that you really want for a weapon, what you need to do is you need to look up the weapon itself. So we're going to do this in my clan because my clan are used to it. So what I'd do is you type it in brackets, you would type the weapon you're looking for. So the weapon we just rolled was the Mutilous Cernos. I think that's a good place to start. You type in Mutilous Cernos here. You'd put it into the chat, or you can go to the codex and do this. I always do it in chat because it's just quicker. Click on the weapon and it will show you how much it is to buy one for plat. Of course, you can build this from the dojo. It will tell you your mastery rank. It will tell you whether you've owned and whether you've mastered it. It will tell you what bundle you can get it from. And then here is the important thing which we're going to be looking at for the Riven is the stats. So the stats you generally want to look at when looking for a Riven roll, or I do personally, are your critical chance and your status chance. That is what you look at first. There are other stats that you can look at as well, but the main ones you want to look at is your critical chance and status chance. The reason why you do this is because it will show you what type of weapon that is. In this case, it is a status weapon. It's got 49% status chance at base, which is a huge amount of status. It's only got 15% crit, which isn't actually that bad. So what you do, if you're looking at a Riven, the first thing you want to go is, right, I want status for this weapon, I want multi-shot for this weapon, I want something that's going to give me the maximum amount of chance of inflicting a status effect on that enemy. The next thing you got to do is you look at the status and then you look to see what its natural or what its base damage types are. So it's got a lot of impact, it's got a lot of toxin. There is a bit of puncture and there is a bit of slash. But these two are the ones you want. Now, impact you don't really need to worry about, but toxin is an elemental damage, which means you can actually mix that with other elementals to make more damage types. And toxin is one of the best bases you can get because you can make your really big damage dealers. You can make your corrosive damage, which is great for getting rid of armor. You can make your viral damage too, which is great for bleed. It's just really good to maximize your bonus effects later on in game. So ideally, looking at this, the three main ones that I would say would go for would be status chance, multi-shot, pure damage, toxin damage, or cold or electricity. They would be the elemental stats I would be looking for, because it would maximize the potential of the weapon. Personally, that's just what I'd go for. You can also go for some utility in a Riven if you really wanted to. If it's got a slow reload or if it's got a slow charge time, get some attack speed or some fire rate or some reload time on that Riven, and it will again make it more useful for you. The other thing you want to do is you want to look for a curse. Now, when we say a curse, what I mean is, if we look at this one, you've got your 3 pluses and then this minus here at the bottom where it says damage to corpus. What that minus does is class as a curse, and what it does is it makes the other stats that you get with that weapon much, much higher. And what that means is that if you get a good negative, i.e. something that doesn't really matter that much, mainly damage to a faction, minus recoil, minus zoom, anything like that doesn't really affect you in game, if you can get a good negative and a good curse, and really, really nice positives like damage, like your toxin, etc., etc., then you can get a really, really good Riven out of it. The other thing to take into consideration is a Riven's disposition. And what disposition is, if we take you over to the arsenal, now I've got an Archer Riven, and as you can see, it's got Riven disposition here. Now, the higher the disposition, the better the stats you'll get. And the way it works here is how powerful a weapon is versus how popular it is and how much damage it can output, etc. So it's the game's way of balancing you, right? So what you do is, if you've got a lower disposition weapon, you're going to get lower stats. So you got to work out if it's actually going to be worth it. Now, if you get really lucky, like I did with this Archer Riven, you can actually get a lot of damage out of your weapon, even though it's only a low disposition weapon. And again, that is down to the negative. Generally, you don't really want to be bothering with one disposition weapons, so weapons like your Axtiletto aren't going to get great stats. 2 and 3 disposition and above, you can generally get away with it. 4 and above, you're going to be dealing with the worst weapons in the game, even though I don't personally believe in that whole concept of bad weapons. But you're going to be dealing with a harder job to get a good weapon out of a Riven. So that's the way that the game balances it. And yeah, that's pretty much all you need to know. You've just got to learn how to maximize the potential of your weapon, know what stats to look for, and if you do get good stats like my Arca that is currently on show here, that is when you can start looking at the market and seeing what Rivens are worth. However, personally, I stay away from the Riven market. Recently, as you know, as of recording this video, there has been a little bit of controversy surrounding the Riven market, and on top of which, one man's god roll can be another man's trash roll. So pricing Rivens becomes very, very difficult. So what I always try and do is I try and let people know, let my viewers know, let you guys in the comments know what way to roll the Riven to get a Riven that is good to be used. If you then want to sell it, that's up to you. I'm not going to take any responsibility for that. Other than that, guys, I really, really hope this this tutorial, this beginner's guide helped. Please, please, please let me know what you think in the comment section down below. And I really, really do hope to see you all next time. Thank you so, so much for watching, guys. Ciao, ciao.